Hi, ladies. It's Ashley. I wanted to come and talk to you all a little bit about feminine qualities and how those tie into your behavior. So, um, there's lots of different aspects to femininity. I touch on the physical a lot because that's one that I think as a society, women feel a lot of pressure around looking a certain way, and especially here in America, we kind of tend to buck and go against the grain. And as a result, sometimes we can find ourselves making things okay that really aren't okay, and kind of turn a blind eye to things that are not working well for us. Case in point, um, not tending to your physical appearance, carrying a whole lot of extra weight, not grooming yourself, not going out at least somewhat looking your best, um, feeling like it's okay to not put effort into your appearance, especially as a single woman, things like that. I think those are almost rebellious types of beliefs that can get you caught up and have you staying single. Um, if you are someone that wants to get married, that's counterproductive. That's, going against what you're wanting. But if you're the type to dig your heels in, you may not understand or embrace that. You may think a man should just have to take you how you are. But again, you're on the market. So you need to market yourself in the best possible light. And then once a man chooses you, then you've set the standards. So you need to maintain that. But that's beside the point, kind of going off on a tangent there. But what I did want to talk about was behaviors. So there have been some women that I either know or they are acquaintances or I know them through other friends, and they have had difficulty in relationships. And one of the things that I notice just in interaction with them or from what I see online is they are embodying the type of energy that repels men and or is masculine. So there are just some general guidelines or general tidbits I want to share. Um, take it with a grain of salt. It may be triggering or upsetting to hear, or, you may not like it. But again, I'm coming from the standpoint of you're ready to get results. What you've been doing isn't working. So you're looking at, I'll do whatever I need to do. I'm not going to continue to think that how I'm viewing it or what I'm doing is right because I'm not getting the results that I want doing that. So I'm talking to the person that is willing to be open-minded and consider that maybe they can try these different approaches or make these changes and see the kind of results that they might get doing that. Okay, so one of the things I want to talk about was talking a whole lot. So as women, obviously, we love to communicate verbally. We love to get on the phone with our girlfriends. We know how to tell a mean story that can go on and on and on. Obviously, men are, in general, less vocal. Once in a while, you'll meet a man who loves to talk, 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 and usually they make friends with a lot of women because that's not what most men like to do. It's rare you'll see men that stay on the phone for hours and hours and hours regularly. But I do that regularly with my girlfriends because there's just so much to talk about. But you have to understand that with men, that is not how you're going to connect with him. That does not endear him more to you. That does not make him want to be around you more. And that is one of the keys to inspiring that attraction and him desiring to spend more time with you, to advance the relationship, to really kind of intertwine his life with yours. Is, does he enjoy being around you? Number one. And then does he miss you when you're not around? Which would indicate, hey, my life is better, or I have a better time, or I feel good when I'm around her. So I want to minimize the distance and the space between us. Um, Part of that is creating an environment that he wants to be in, which, just so happens to be your presence. So talking too much, a lot of times women, we can go down a rabbit hole or say too much, go too deep, or just talk a lot, and I find it's better to leave a little bit to the imagination, to be a little bit more mysterious, especially in the beginning when you're dating. So don't be like dry. Don't not have answers to his questions. But if you find yourself filling in the gaps in the conversation, if you find yourself constantly coming up with new topics to discuss, try leaning back from that, because that, again, that's masculine, that's doing energy, trying to make things happen. And the reason why I tend to work with women who are successful or ambitious is we, because I have been one of them, tend to reside in that making things happen energy. We are go getters. We are very motivated, very ambitious. We know how to get in there with the boys and make sure our voice is heard. We tend to be leaders, very educated, or just, do what we do well. Do well in career, do well in life. Single mom, kids are taken care of, got your own place, got your own this and your own that. So you're pretty proud of who you are and what you've accomplished. And, you don't have a problem speaking up. And I'm not encouraging you to stifle your voice completely or to, suppress your voice, and cause a throat chakra blockage or anything like that. But I am suggesting that you not fill your interactions with men with mindless chatter, that you not love the sound of your own voice so much that you start talking and you're just talking and just coming up with stuff. Before you know it, you're interviewing him, you're asking 21 questions, you're just kind of hitting the gas on the interaction and the conversation instead of, leaning back and letting your presence be enjoyed. A man's not necessarily going to choose you for your conversation because, again, men connect through doing, men connect through action. That's why a lot of men like to do physical activities like with their friends or their loved ones, hunting, playing sports, going on trips, surfing, whatever, they like to do. Versus we can get together and go to dinner and talk the whole night. We can go over each other's house and talk the whole night. We can sit on the phone and talk all day and all night. I've done it. I've been on the phone with girlfriends for 8 hours, when we were going through a situation and needed to support each other through it. But that's not most men's tendency, especially not masculine men. They're more doers than talkers. So if you find yourself talking a lot, maybe chill on that. Let him lead. Let him lead the interaction. He's courting you. Let him take the lead and you follow. Just be like water. Go with the flow. Don't go in there with an agenda. Don't go in there trying to make things happen. You want to approach it more from and this is more of a submissive mindset that you're going to see what comes of this, that you will contribute, that you will bring your gifts to the table, but you're not the one that is pushing for anything. You are here observing and you're here to participate, but this is not this coming together, this date, this relationship is not one of your organizing. It is a man pursuing you. You're not pursuing him for, a relationship or marriage or whatever. And you have to keep that mindset so that you don't get in your masculine energy and start chasing him, courting him, asking him a bunch of questions, initiating dates, coming up with ideas, trying to fix his problems, mothering him. All those kinds of things come from that doer mindset. And that can work in corporate or in certain aspects of your life where you have to be a go-getter, but it doesn't work in love, especially if you want a masculine man. And that's just something to keep in mind. Second is I think it's really important for women to keep in mind that they have different roles that they play in their lives. So we are multifaceted beings. So we play the role of, if you have like a 9-to-5 or regular job, you are an employee. If you have kids, you're a mom. You're a daughter. You are a friend. You're a cousin, a granddaughter. If you own a business, you are a boss. Or if you are in a management or a leadership position, you're a boss. but you want to be like a girlfriend or a wife or a fiance or something serious to a man. And you have to understand that every role in your life is going to require different things of you. And you would not act at work the way you act with your girlfriends, or the way you act with your girlfriends, you're not necessarily going to act with your family. And the way you act with your family members is not necessarily how you're going to act with your kids or with your staff on the job, or you know, with the general public. We have different parts of us that we choose to embody in different situations. So you need to know that there is a certain part of you that you will need to embody to be that almost archetype, I could call it, of the wife, of the cherished wife. Okay, and in being that, you may act differently than you want to just by default. And some women may have a problem with that concept because they say, well, I want to be myself. I tend to be a tomboy and I joke and play around, and I like to talk a lot. I like to talk mess, and I like to challenge the boys to a game of basketball, and, show them how much I know about sports. And I prefer to be comfortable. So I don't want to put on a bunch of makeup and a dress and, do my hair, or I don't want to not be loud. I don't want to drink beer and burp, or I don't want to not be able to drink beer and burp and do all that stuff. That is not helpful to what your ultimate goal is if you are trying to attract a masculine man. When you are trying to attract anything, or when you're trying to catch anything, you have to have the proper bait. You have to have what that thing wants. If you're trying to catch a fish, you have to have the proper bait on your hook. If you are trying to attract flies, you're not going to attract flies with vinegar. You need honey, as that adage goes. So if you're trying to attract a masculine man, you need to embody what masculine men like. Tap into that part of yourself. Know that you can be whoever else you need to be in the other areas of your life. But don't think that there's just one version of you that you can apply in every situation and it's going to go well, because it's not. And your life has probably shown you that it's not. So I would advise against that. I would encourage you to delve a bit more into the feminine aspects that masculine men are attracted to and that they're looking for in a partner, in a cherished wife, and start to embody those more. So that would be like agreeableness. Okay. Definitely easy to lead, appreciative, beautiful. That is just one of them. Being, beautiful inside and out. So having a peaceful, calm demeanor, being sweet, being loving, being nurturing. Intelligence is important, but also knowing when you are getting into teacher slash mother energy and staying away from that. Understanding that the man is the leader, the man is the initiator, the man is the head, and understanding that men have an ego and that you have to be careful not to bruise that, especially if you are a high earner or you're super smart or ambitious and you have a lot that you could brag on, but don't get to bragging on it because, without being able to say it a different way, it's not cute, it's not endearing to them. You may feel good about yourself laying out your resume and all of the reasons why you feel like you're so great, but men are typically looking for something different, especially if they are successful in their own right. And most of us want a man who's self-made, successful, isn't looking to us as a sugar mama or someone whose success he's trying to piggyback off of. If you want someone who's bringing his own to the table, be a bit more modest about yours. There is a time and a place for you to, I guess you would say, boast or highlight some of your favorite accomplishments or whatever, but generally men are looking at how you make them feel, how they feel around you, what your energy is like, and has nothing to do with your degrees, your house, your accolades at the job, all the great things that you've done, and whatever. That starts to feel masculine, and it feels like a pissing contest between two men, and that just it does not ignite that organic attraction that you want to be there. So your physical beauty opens the door, but how you make a man feel really gets that fire going. And lastly, I wanted to keep this video short, so I'll just do a third one. um, Lastly is paying attention to little subtle things like your tone, your laugh, little things you say, um, whether you are very, how I put it, think of a very sultry, alluring, feminine woman and ask yourself, how does your behavior stack up against a woman like that? How would she carry herself? How would she interact with a man at dinner or in public? Or how does, even when she's alone, how does she move? How does she think? How does she speak? What energy is she embodying? If you're very loud, I've heard numerous men say this, they do not like women who are super loud and always trying to draw attention to themselves. I mean, there are certain men who do, but a lot of men don't, especially not a man who has some prestige. He has a reputation he's trying to protect, and frankly, most men are looking for peace at home. So he has to think, if he has you at home, will he have peace in his home? And if you are loud, if you don't have decorum, if you don't know how to act in public, or if you find yourself trying to be one of the boys and you're talking to the men and trying to be in the mix and not being with the women, not kind of following those gender roles, a man is considering, okay, how would life be with you long term? Okay, again, I mentioned earlier being agreeable and easy to lead. Um, some of your behaviors are indicators of that. You know, um, will you embarrass him? Are you a good representation of him and how he chooses to live? Because as his wife, as his woman, you are an extension of him. So, um, is he going to have to worry about how you make yourself and him look? Um, is there going to be tug of war energy with you? Are you the type that likes to play devil's advocate, or you like to debate? You like to go back and forth? Um, Men may find that banter, cute on the first date, or maybe even occasionally, you know, but it really has to be in jest. It cannot be like you really are taking the opposing side all the time, because a lot of people do not find debating peaceful. If you find someone who, enjoys that, then I guess more power to you. But again, I don't see that, especially early on in the relationship, cultivating that environment of intimacy and closeness. It feels more adversarial. It feels more like, getting into heated discussions rather than building emotional attraction and intimacy. So just keep that in mind. Um, you may want to stay away from those really charged topics, or just be minimal about it. Don't go overboard if you're trying to be, in your attractive, alluring energy, which is important. You can be right. You can share everything you're thinking, feeling, wanting him to know about A, B, and C topics. But at the end of the day, if the relationship fizzles out, if things don't go how you're hoping, and you don't see this guy again, or he doesn't start pursuing you, or his attraction for you withers, you'll be left, blaming him. But this won't be the first guy. This won't be the second guy. It has a pattern of happening. So you'll really have to start looking within and asking yourself, is there anything that I'm doing? We tend to think that we're just fine, that the way we're approaching life, love, relationships, all of that is fine, that it's always the other person. But if you're the common denominator, if there are women out there who are attracting men naturally, getting married every day, getting claimed, and in committed relationships every day, and it's just not working out for you, then there may be something you need to change in your approach and how you're showing up in your dating and relationship life. So I will leave you with that. I go into this a lot more in my program, Flex Your Femininity. I work with the women one-on-one, and we also do like group trainings, or I'll post videos in the group resources to check out, and that would be books, stores to buy feminine clothing at, building a whole resource database for everything from makeup and skincare to clothing to um, behavior to even phrases or ways to handle certain situations. Like, I want to really build a very vast arsenal that women can utilize as kind of a resource bank to step into their femininity and use the power that we innately have. But we've kind of been taught that we needed to compete with the men, that this is a man's world and we kind of needed to step into our masculine energy to get things done. And that may have worked in career and, like I said, in buying a house and, you know, finances or whatever, but it does not work in love. But luckily, the feminine nature is our innate nature. It is the one we're most inclined to. We just have to turn back toward it and embrace it. And that's what I'm here to do. You can have it all. Um, you'll just need to tap into the fact that you're multifaceted and that you can be who you need to be as the situation calls for it and dictates it. And I mean, that just makes you a chameleon of sorts, you know. And next level is when you start you realizing that your feminine energy can actually get you far in the workplace, that your feminine energy can actually work really well for you out in the world and not just in love, and that your most powerful position is in embracing your womanhood. It's not trying to be um, male energy in a woman body. So I really look forward to touching on this more with you all. I hope everyone's having a fabulous Friday and that you have a great weekend. And as always, if you have any questions, if you're interested in a one-on-one session or talking with me more or checking out Flex Your Femininity, that's a month-to-month membership there. I also do intuitive readings. You can check my reviews and some of my testimonials for that. I offer those for one off situations, or if you just want some intuitive insight into your situation, just hit me up. I'm available and I'm here to serve. And I love you all, and we will talk more soon. Have a great weekend. Bye for now.